hi, and thank you for dropping into my shop. Now, what do you think that is? Well, I'll give you a hint. It's probably a radio. Here's another view of it. This one's a real beautiful radio in terms of its condition. There it is there. A little mysterious though, isn't it? It says Panasonic there. And as you can imagine, that was pretty heavy. And it doesn't have its batteries, so it had the batteries in it. Okay, close your eyes for a second. It's a little bit better. Okay, let's have a look inside. Now, boy, if you were here, you would be dazzled at the this radio is just brilliant. It's just brilliant with reflections from the lights in my shop. And I guess you can see it in the camera too. It's fantastic. Now, the yellow you're seeing is the reflection of my clothes. That's me actually. You're seeing in there. Let me get out of the way. That's a little better idea, but you're just seeing more reflections from inside my shop. It's really very, very metallic. It's probably the best way to describe it, the look of this radio. It's fantastic. It's not very busy with controls, is it? There's a volume and a bass and a treble. There's an indicator. It says battery. Get right down here, you can read tuning on it. Tuning dial feels nice. It's quite a nice dial, and it has a huge number of bands. That 9, 10, 11, 12. It's a 12 band radio. It's pretty compact for having 12 bands in it. This radio must just be full of coils inside. Oh, I look what they've done on here. They've got the 80 meters in red. 160. Yeah, they got the handbands in red. And then you can see the black bands. 31 meters, 41 meters, those are the broadcast bands. Pretty nice. There's a button over here for AFC, automatic frequency control. Yeah, that's just about the first bit of significant wear. There's a little bit of paint missing in the off square. AFC, we'll leave it off. AFC off. These guys are the latches. And the lid. Oh, check this out. This is down in the lid here. And obviously this is a time map. And utilization guide. A national Panasonic It's pretty interesting. It's like a little handy dandy manual here. What's this one? Let's see. Aerial and ground. Oh yeah. Not much of a house the person lives in. He's spending all his money on radios, I guess. Showing putting a plate in the 1 meter deep in the ground. You know, I've never paid much attention to grounding radios. And I wonder if I've overlooked something that's really critical, because it's always talked about, but it seems like any time I've ever had a chance to find out for myself what goes on, nothing goes on. It never seems to make any difference, grounding or not grounding. So, slight ding in it there. Pretty nice. Oh, what's this? World timetable. The international international date line. It's got different places on it. Excuse me. Something's going to turn here, I'm sure. There we go. This turn. So you can see a blue and a black, so it's probably day and night. There's noon. So much for the day and night thing. As it gets dark at noon where you are, it doesn't get dark at noon where I am. So I don't know how you would do this, but 0 is London, Lisbon, and Dakar. That's 0. So I think we are behind 5 hours right now. There it is, Toronto. Huh, how you like that, eh? So, Toronto. So you would, what would you do now? So you dial the correct time on the outside for Toronto. So the time right now is 8:30. So we'll dial up 8:30 on Toronto, I believe. That's what we're doing here. Where to go? There it is. Yeah, maybe I'm not doing this right. So that would mean the time in London would be, oh, this is going the wrong way. No, it's we're 5 hours behind them, so 8:30. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 hours. I think it's 5 right now. Maybe I'm wrong about that. So I guess I could look at London and go, okay, so right now if it's 8:30 here, it must be, yeah, it's lots of fun. I should finish that. It must be 1:30 in London, or in Jakarta, it must be 7 o'clock in the evening. 1:30 in the afternoon in London. Oh, it'd be 8:30. No, there's no way, man. It's 8:30 at night here. Okay, so that's 20 hours. So 20:35. So it's 20. A little past. 20. Here's Toronto. There we are. So now I got this at the right time. So now we want to know the time in Jakarta. Jakarta is around 8 in the morning. You know what? 3 clicks on the internet, you'd have your answer. hope you found that fun, because I sure found it fascinating. So, and the rest of you, I'll have to wake you up. Yeah. Okay, back to looking at the radio. Let's close this up here. Well, it's two antennas. And what is this? What would this be? You know, it looks like you could tilt the radio back and this would hold it, but there's no lock in it. There's nothing keeping it from just kicking out from under the radio. So I wonder if it's some kind of antenna. Nah, I can't. Could it be? I don't have a manual for it. I haven't looked on the internet for too much yet on this radio. Just took a peek. Got a couple of hinges here. So I know what that says. That says, "Open me up, please." Battery tube, 6 Ds, none in there. Boy, this is a heavy beast already. Check that out. It's got kind of its own little, almost discreet looking power supply. That's screwed right in there. There is a battery. There's one over here. Some kind of memory battery or something of that sort. Oh, no, there's no memory in here. Maybe that's the light battery. Maybe they've got it rigged here so the light doesn't draw from the radio. Check out that battery. Come on, is that old? A little hard to see on the camera, maybe because of the lighting. Ever ready classic battery. What would that be? A classic battery. What would that be? Why would you call your battery a classic? Because it's just a carbon battery? And you don't want to call it just a carbon battery, so you call it a classic. This classic is brand new. It's watch the meter there. Huh. So this is a recent addition. I'm not sure why it's in there. I hope it wasn't in there for some real important reason, because I took it out. But there's no computer type stuff in this radio, that's for sure. Ooh, it's a little corroded down there. Let's take a close look at that. Yeah, that's definitely a battery corrosion deal there. Okay, so the question is this thing okay? I don't think there's too much metal showing right there. Yeah, that hole in the middle, especially up in this corner here. Looks like it's missing. So I'm not too sure what to think of that. Let's give it a little onesie doozy here. Metal under there. Just gotta dig for it. So I can't do much with this. I'm just using the tip of a screwdriver here. We'll use something with a little more potency than that. I gotta put on my safety goggles for this. You might want to cover your ears for this. Oh, I don't think we're getting the necessary abrasion there. I was using a soft tool here. Let's try something with a little more. Okay, thought that would be a dramatic ending there. Okay. Hey, it's not your normal. Wait, what are you doing? You know, it's not your normal daily grind, is it? Oh boy. Okay, how's that? There we go. the battery back on that, I'm pretty sure it's going to make a contact. And we know the battery's good now, so we'll put them back in. Oh, look, this little light. It's supposed to go through that hole there, but obviously it's missed and it's kind of banged into it a few times. It's probably considered a clever engineering solution. Oh, I don't need my goggles on anymore. That's what I was talking about with goggles. So, oh, a lot of outputs here. Let's see. Like speaker, earphone. What's that mean? Phono? I think that's a phono input, tape input. FM antenna here, and the FM antenna here. Two ways to connect. AM antenna and ground. AM antenna. We better remember that. Not exactly the most popular kind of plug. Some antennas sticking up here. I'm gonna get into trouble. I think it's time to turn this guy on because, boy, it looks to be in fantastic shape. It's another one of these I'm worried about having in my shop, really. Things can be a little rugged in here. Okay, we'll plug that in. You know, this front, you'd think it would come right off so you could take it away, but I don't see any way. Oh, there's a little bit of age wear there, right along these edges. You can see it's curled up. It's shrunk back a little bit. Same thing over here. Yeah. You know, I think that's leather. I think that's characteristic of leather. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but that's real leather. Okay, volumes here. We'll start it off on the AM radio. First we'll turn the plug on. Okay, now we're ready. There we go. Oh yeah. Ah, the wonderful AM sounds of my shop. It's not picking one station out of that. Sounds like a nice receiver though. Oh, guess what? Okay. Can't play music too long or... Okay, well, enough of the AM band. Well, it certainly is working. I wonder if a light's supposed to come on over here or something. It's fairly obvious which band you're listening to just by looking up here. Really. So let's go to FM. Bingo.
And dark, detective. Of the deep and dark.
True detective. Sundays at late.
Oh, it's got a separate pointer. The same knob, separate pointer.
Visit Megahertz.com.
Saturday, January.
Wow. Maybe one of these antennas needs to be up. I knocked the power off there.
That time where
We clap to celebrate the Duke.
Lots of volume. Wow, the FM works good. I'm not surprised. Let's take a look at the shortwave bands now. I'll go right through them. Start at the top one. Top one is 25 megahertz to 30, and we're up at 30 right now. And you know what? I don't really have an antenna on it. Let's give it an antenna here. Just putting up an antenna here. Oh, wait a minute. I need to put up an antenna? What am I doing? Didn't make much difference. There you go. Okay, here we go. Wouldn't expect too much up here. It's 9 o'clock in the evening here. 22. Okay, well, let's go through each of the bands on this radio, starting with shortwave number 8 rather, which is 30 megahertz to 25 megahertz, and we're starting up at the 30 end. And the time here is 9:30 in the evening. I'm connected to an outdoor antenna, very long lead-in. That's the 10-meter ham band. You see from the red line. Through the CB band. I get a big kick out of the skip on the around 27 megahertz from the CB, when the conditions are right. So far, nothing, just a lot of that. Now we're just inches from my computer screen here, and the computer is just another 6 inches, a foot away. So goodness knows there's lots of that kind of noise. So this is the 11-meter band. Going down to 25 megahertz. Might get something in this band in terms of international broadcast. But then again, we could get some out-of-band powerful stations coming up from the States. Anywhere, it could occur anywhere. Not get much there. 6 is 20 to 16. Should start getting more interesting now. Be a little more careful now about what I'm hearing. A 16-meter band. Still a little high for that time of day here. Actually, we're not a little high. We're way high. What am I saying? We're way high. Way high is right. We're just getting down to 15 here on band number 5. It goes from 16 to 12. So now we should expect. I expect now to start hearing things. I mean on the radio too, I don't mean just in my head. There's really not much you can do with this radio. Bass and treble. Okay. Now, this next band should be lots of fun. What I'm doing is I'm playing with the automatic volume control by tuning into the signal at different rates and listening to how the signal strength varies. In some radios, the AVC is slow. Well, you can tune in quick and get a blast out of the radio if the AVC is too slow to come on. This one seems just fine. Not much, we're not receiving much, are we? And I'm doing this without a comparator. I should be doing this with my my computer controlled radio. we'd get a really nice view of the shoot. I forgot the term. I like that. I have a little seniors moment here. No, it's a frequency display where the frequencies are displayed. Onward, Jim. Just onward. Get on with the tuning here. This very exciting video we're having. Maybe it turned up pretty high now. This radio is full of birdies. Well, these are all coming from things like the screen and who knows what. Wow, we're down to around 7.3. 41 meter band coming into the ham radio, 40 meter band. Well, you might be able to blame it on the antenna, but it's not doing all that well. Well, it's last hope here. Shortwave 2 brings us right into 6 megahertz. That's the hot late night band. Let's see. Well, I clearly hear two voices there. You should hear three when I'm talking.
The political system has obliged this execution under the party's leadership. The workload is huge and the implementation process won't be long. Measures of neutralization agency.
I think there's two stations very close together there. They're not one on top of the other by any means. And this radio can receive one, the other, or both. It's not very good at separating them out. So let's tune across there and listen very carefully here. The male voice, and then there was a female voice, or both. That's what was there before, anyway.
Heard your show, really enjoyed the music.
That's another signal entirely.
Byron says that
you know what? I think it is one right on top of another.
y de la inminente apertura de la zona especial de desarrollo del Mariel. En esa rada, al oeste de La Habana, se inaugurará en breve la
Very strong signal.
Forgiveness, and if you ask God to
That
forgive
one
you
also.
the way you forgive others, then that's
Very, very strong
performance-based,
signals.
and
It
that's
sounds pretty good.
bondage to fear.
immediately dry up, that they would die. It would dry and shrivel and just, Lord, that they would just move on out of his
Dry and
body.
shrivel, okay.
Por cierto, que ustedes cantan en un coro, ¿verdad? Como llevamos como 8 años de
Another religious signal. Reception is not very good at all now. It's really not very good. But the good thing is the radio works. It works perfectly fine. I'm sure if we had it in a better situation than in my shop here, the reception would be far better. So we will have to set up a test like that, since my main purpose with this radio is to determine if it's working well. So good news is it seems to be working in every way, except I can't get the light to come on. No light. No light. So thanks for watching all that. And we'll see you soon. And the next thing I will do a video of this with the my computer based radio.